So in this lecture, we'll be doing IGCSE chemistry previous year question papers. The topic that we'll be doing now is manufacture of ammonia. Now, please note that before this, I've done manufacture of sulfuric acid also, and I have done a detailed lecture on reversible equilibrium reactions. So this lecture is pretty detailed, about an hour long. You should have a look at this lecture also, because then you'll understand uh, all the factors which affect the equilibrium. As you would be aware that in manufacture of ammonia, this is the important reaction. This is the important reaction. This is the important equilibrium reaction, reversible reactions, where a lot of questions would be asked about the effect of temperature, pressure, catalyst on the direction of the equilibrium. So it will be a good idea to have a look at this detailed lecture also. And now let's start with the manufacture of ammonia. If you want to have a look at the manufacture of sulfuric acid, please refer to another lecture, which is detailed lecture, which is available. The question which I have selected, these questions are from 2025, they are from 2024, 23, few questions from 2022 also. All the questions that are selected, all the questions that are there in the PDF, you will have there will be a year stamp like this. You can refer to that. So let's start. Haber process is used to manufacture ammonia. Okay, state the main source of each gas used in the Haber process. Now, as I had discussed in my previous sulfuric acid manufacturing process also, please remember from where are the reactants coming from. So in sulfur also, we had sought few questions regarding where will you get sulfur dioxide. So in this reaction, nitrogen plus hydrogen gives ammonia. You should remember, where does nitrogen comes from, where does hydrogen comes from. This is an important question. So as is mentioned here, nitrogen mainly comes from the fractional distillation of air. This is the first thing. Hydrogen comes from steam reforming of natural gas, which is methane. So for nitrogen and hydrogen, the sources should be clear. For Haber process, this is a question which is asked again and again. So this is what I have mentioned. Nitrogen is mentioned that it is available from air, fractional distillation of liquid air, and the second, hydrogen from natural gas by steam reforming. I won't be going into much of the detail for that. You'll have to refer to your textbook, because this would be more of an exercise where I'll be, taking you through all the questions, the kind of questions which are asked. So this question is done. Second question. So this is the Haber process. As we can see, delta H is negative, so it's a exothermic process. Reaction is reversible. Forward reaction is exothermic. State what is mentioned by the symbol delta H. Now please remember that, give you a bit of explanation. Again, won't be going into much of a detail. So this is our system where the reaction is taking place, and the rest of the universe is the surroundings. Now you should remember very clearly, because in an exothermic reaction, net heat is given out. We had discussed this in detail in our chemical energetics lecture. So in an exothermic reaction, net heat is given out. Because net heat is given out, net heat is given out. That is why you'll see a negative sign here. This negative sign implies that at the end of the reaction, the system has lost energy. So that is why this negative, whenever you see a delta H negative, remember it's an exothermic reaction. And if you see delta H as positive, that's an endothermic reaction. I hope this is clear. Now, what is meant by symbol delta H? This is what you can write. Delta represents enthalpy change. You can write this as energy change, because in grade 9th and 10th, enthalpy is not a word which is used. You can write this as energy change. So delta H represents energy change of the reaction, energy released or absorbed when the reaction takes place at constant pressure. So basically, energy change at constant pressure is called enthalpy. But that is not the word which is used in grade 9 and 10. Usually it is used in grade 11. But your teacher might have discussed this in the class. So this minus 92 indicates that the reaction is exothermic. So this is a definition that you can write. Okay. So delta H for forward is negative. State whether they show the forward, show why this shows that forward reaction is exothermic. So as mentioned, and you will find this detailed explanation in the chemical energetics lecture. I have mentioned the playlist in the comment section. Please have a look at that. But right now, all I can discuss here is that net heat is lost by the system. That is why delta H is negative, and it implies that it's an exothermic reaction. Typical conditions, temperature, pressure, catalyst, as is mentioned here. Please have a look at this. 450 degrees Celsius is the temperature. 200 atmosphere is the pressure. At times they ask question the pressure in terms of kilopascal also. So please remember that 100 kilopascal is approximately equal to 1 atmosphere. So that is why I have written 200 atmosphere or 20,000 kilopascal. Please remember this. A catalyst is finely divided iron. This I have taken from Google, so that's why there's some extra information which is given. But as is mentioned in your textbook, finely divided iron acts as the catalyst. So these conditions are very important. They are asked again and again. Just for comparison's sake, I have put the manufacture of sulfuric acid as well as manufacture of ammonia on the same sheet. Okay. And now here comes this typical question where, because this both the manufacture of sulfuric acid and ammonia comes under the chemical equilibrium chapter. So that is why a lot of questions are asked in terms of chemical equilibrium almost each year. So now, the typical question is they'll ask you the effect of temperature, pressure, or catalyst on the direction of the equilibrium, which direction it will shift. They also ask in terms of the question can also be asked in terms of the concentration of the products, whether the concentration of product increases or decreases. The question can also be asked in terms of the rate of reaction, the rate of forward reaction, or the rate of backward reaction. So basically, in all these questions, there are three topics which you should be very clear of. The first, of course, is chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium you should be clear of. The second is rate of reactions. Rate of reactions is another chapter you should be clear, and another should be chemical kinetics. So these three chapters should be very clear when you are doing manufacture of sulfuric acid and manufacture of ammonia, because a lot of questions are asked again and again regarding all these three. Okay, so now what they are asking is the temperature increases. Effect on the rate of forward reaction, of course, rate of forward reaction will increase. But effect on the concentration of ammonia. So now they have asked the question in terms of concentration of the products. So as the temperature increases, we understand that as per Le-Chatelier's principle, as the temperature increases, the system will try to decrease the temperature. The system will decrease the temperature by going in the backward direction. So that is why it is the system will move in the backward direction. And when it moves in the backward direction, the concentration of ammonia will decrease. I hope this is making clear. Always remember, as I have discussed before, if the forward reaction is exothermic, the backward reaction will be endothermic, and vice versa. Next question, pressure decreases. Whenever pressure comes, we look at the number of moles. Here, 4 moles are on the left-hand side and 2 moles are on the right-hand side. So, effect on the rate of forward reaction, see, as pressure decreases, the rate of reaction will decrease. But what you need to understand is, as the pressure decreases, as per Le-Chatelier principle, the system will try to oppose this decrease of pressure. How it will oppose this? It will oppose this by, it will move in a direction which increases the pressure. The increase of pressure is more towards, if you look at this, if the system goes in the backward direction, more number of moles are generated. So that is why more pressure would be created. So if you decrease the pressure, system will increase the pressure by moving in the backward direction. System will move in the equilibrium will move in the backward direction. And when the equilibrium moves in the backward direction, the concentration of ammonia will decrease. Hope this is making sense. Now, think about catalyst. Always remember the catalyst doesn't affect the concentration of reactants or products. It doesn't interfere with the yield of the product. What it interferes with is the rate of reaction, and that is why it is mentioned here that if you put no catalyst, if no catalyst is used, the rate of reaction would be slower, but the yield would remain the same. The yield won't change. Hope this is making sense. Let's move to the next question. Sulfur we have already done, so I'm skipping all the questions. So again, nitrogen, ammonia, okay. Again, they are asking you about the sources of nitrogen. As we have already done, I'm skipping this. Source of hydrogen also I'm skipping. Temperature, pressure, we have discussed. Catalyst used, state what is meant by the term catalyst. You can refer to my notes. Okay, here are the notes. A catalyst is a substance. This again you would have done in detail in chemical energetics, and that is why I was saying that these three chapters move together. So you should be very clear about the three chapters. So catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of chemical reaction by providing an alternative pathway with lower activation energy, and it is not used or permanently changed in the reaction. So these are the properties of catalyst. I won't be going into detail, but 2-3 things I'll try to mention. Catalyst, it increases the rate of reaction. This is the first thing it does. Second, it provides an alternative path for lower activation energy. You would have seen a diagram like this in the chemical equilibrium chapter. So when you use a catalyst, basically what it does is it provides an alternative by decreasing the activation energy. You would have seen such a diagram graph in your textbook. So please refer to that. So basically it provides an alternative path with lower activation energy. The third thing is it is not used up or permanently changed in the reaction. So this is what a catalyst does, increases the rate of reaction. And there are few properties of catalyst. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now we move to the next part of the question. Ammonia is converted into nitric acid. Okay, ammonia is being converted into nitric acid. First stage is conversion of ammonia into nitrogen monoxide. So this is the reaction. Now the reaction is carried out at this temperature, this pressure. See, this is a reaction where you are converting ammonia into nitrogen monoxide, and this too is a equilibrium reaction. So don't mix this with Haber's process. This is a separate reaction. The forward reaction is exothermic. So when I say plus delta, basically what I'm saying is that heat is being generated as a product. So that is why I'm writing plus delta. Use explanation that do not involve cost. Okay, explain why temperature less than 900 degrees Celsius is not used. So, and the second part is explain why a pressure greater than 7 atmosphere is not used. So let's have a look at the solutions for both of these. Now see, if a temperature less than 900 degrees Celsius is used, what it does is it basically brings down the rate of reaction. So lower temperature, gas particles, less kinetic energy, pure collision, rate of reaction would be too slow. So that is why the yield of nitrogen monoxide gets affected. So that's why what we say is that when a temperature less than 900 degrees Celsius is used, the yield of nitrogen monoxide, which you want as a product, that suffers. That is why it is not used. The second part is explain why a pressure greater than 7 atmosphere is not used. So whenever they talk about pressure, we have discussed at least 10 to 15 times before. Whenever they talk about pressure, please have a look at the number of moles on the left hand side and right hand side of the equation. So here we have 4 plus 5, 9 moles. Here we have 6 plus 4, 10 moles. Please have a look at the number of moles because that will give you an idea. Now, if you see that as per Lee Chatelier, and that is what is mentioned here, as per Lee Chatelier, if we uh, increase the pressure, if we increase the pressure, the system will try to shift in a condition, will try to shift in a direction where it will try to oppose this increase of pressure. How the system can oppose this increase of pressure is by moving in a direction where less number of moles are being generated. Now, less number of moles are generated when the system moves in the backward direction. If you see, if it moves in the backward direction from 10 mole, it goes to 9 moles. So what will happen is if we increase the pressure, the yield of nitrogen monoxide will be less. Hope this is making sense. System will try to oppose the increase. How can it oppose the increase of pressure? By decreasing the pressure. It will move in the reverse direction. When it moves in the reverse direction, from 10 mole, 9 moles are being created. And that affects the yield of nitrogen monoxide. Then they have asked us to balance the equation and have a look at how the balancing is done. Let's move to the next question. Sulfur I've already done. Okay. So ammonia is made again. Name of the industrial process. I have discussed this before. Please remember the names. Haber process, contact process. Please remember the names. Raw material done. This is reversible reaction. Temperature, pressure done. Okay. Catalyst used. Done. Again, they are discussing the effect of temperature and pressure. So temperature is reduced because it's an exothermic reaction. Heat is being generated in the forward side. Now you decrease the temperature, the system will try to oppose this. How will it oppose it? It will move in a direction which will oppose the reduction of temperature. So the system will try to increase the temperature. It can increase the temperature when the reaction moves in the forward direction. The pressure is reduced. Here temperature was reduced, here the pressure is reduced. Now, again, if you look closely, you are reducing the pressure. System will try to increase the pressure. How can the system increase the pressure? It can increase the pressure in the reaction. 4 moles are giving rise to 2 moles. This is the net molar change which is happening from left hand side of the equilibrium to the right hand side of the equation. Now, if you reduce the pressure, the system will try to increase the pressure. The system can only increase the pressure if it moves in the reverse direction. So the system, the equilibrium will move in the reverse direction as per Lee Chatelier principle. So you should be very clear about the Lee Chatelier principle. Please try to do as many questions as you can about Lee Chatelier principle. That is why this is we spent about an hour doing all kind of questions. I think we did about 9 to 10 equilibrium questions. So that is why I'm insisting, please have a look at this lecture. Then the rate of reaction when temperature is reduced. So as the temperature reduced, particles have less kinetic energy, move slowly, less collision, smaller collisions, therefore rate of reaction decreases. So these are the questions which are asked regarding ammonia. We have earlier we have done questions in sulfur. We did a lot of questions from equilibrium also. So what you can basically for reversible equations, equilibrium, we would have spent around 2 hours. So around 1 hour 10 minutes on the first part, around 20 to 25 minutes in the second part where we did sulfuric acid, and around 20 minutes here. So what I can promise you is that these 2 hours, if you have spent 2 hours with me doing all the previous year questions, there is no way in which you can lose any mark. And intentionally, I have done theoretical questions, not many MCQ questions, for a simple reason that once your concepts are clear, it will be very easy to answer the MCQs also. So hope this was useful, and best of luck for your exams. Thank you.